All right, here I am at the bottom of the frame. So it is International Portrait Day. International Self-Portrait Day. Hey, Hatsuki, you are quick. You are on the money. International Self-Portrait Day. As you can see, I spent some more time on it yesterday on my lunch break. If you are interested in watching it, there is VOD available. On Twitch. Hey Gria, what's up? Welcome to International Self-Portrait Day, November 1st. So today, as you can see, I'll do my self-portrait. I'll try to finish it. I don't think I'll do dramatically big changes. I don't want to replicate the photo. I kind of like it that the focal point is at the face and all the brushwork is loose around it. I'll try to add some of the kind of power of the background over here back into here, because I think it really is important in how it interacts with the orange, because now there is a bit too similar. Hey Amir. Hey Shaman Amidamaru. What up? How's it going? So again, today is the International Self-Portrait Day. I recommend you do a self-portrait. I've been doing them. I've been doing them since 2001, and I quite enjoy them. I quite enjoy the tradition and see how you grow and how you change and also reflect. It gives me time to reflect over my own journey. So I recommend it. Gria, I mean, you should share it. It's fun. There is a Facebook group, an event Facebook, which is the International Self-Portrait Day. There's thousands of people sharing their portraits. It's fascinating to look. Hey Zelin, how's it going? Good morning. So, one thing before I start. We are sending one of our artists away into the big wide world. Yesterday was Henry, his last day at Opus. But what I want to say is all these works is more or less his warm-up and also mixed in with his professional work, and so on. But fun story is that due to his warm-ups and his experimentations and his ability to relax and be creative and experiment with technique and colors and so on, he literally got hired based on his warm-ups, which is fascinating. I mean, clearly, I mean, they're quite cinematic and interesting to look at, but the way he's drawn them and the way he paints them is very simplistic but complicated, which is a fantastic sign to show, you know, like you don't need to go crazy realistic to get hired. And he got hired to do viz dev for DreamWorks and Netflix and other stuff. So it just shows you it pays off to grind, to have someone to give feedback and listen to feedback. I obviously give him feedback every day. You know, we talk about his warm-ups and his general performance every day and things like that. But it's important to give and take feedback and learn and be open to adjust and figure new stuff out, which he's a living proof of. And he got hired based on these, which is pretty cool. So we're sad to see him leave, but we're happy for him to leave because he's going on to new grounds. And for those who want to check his workout, there's his stuff. So let's start a timer and let's do the last touches to my self-portrait, which I started yesterday, and be done with 2019's self-portrait of the year. It's fascinating. Letting your child go. Yeah, absolutely. It's quite funny, quite an interesting story. He joined us quite fresh. Like, he literally couldn't do Photoshop 5 years ago. We coached him. He was intern for 2 years, I think. Showed him the way, gave him homework and all these things. Then professionally, then after his interning, we hired him as a junior, and now he leaves as a full-fledged artist in his own right. And I'm happy to see his personal work being what got him hired, because those warm-ups he's been doing over like last 2 years clearly pays off, and he found himself through this daily exercise of 30 minutes and testing yourself out, what you can do, what you can experiment with. I know he's done like Blender and other 3D programs, testing things out, line art studies, all these things, allows him to try things safely, and then also getting feedback and being pushed by his teammates, which you guys also can do, and just use the Discord and start giving each other feedback, help each other, push yourself further. And like you see, like in his instance, like Henry's instance, which I linked to, I mean, it wasn't overnight. It took him 2 years of daily warm-ups, like I've done for 5 years now. But it just shows, like, yes, you get better. No, it won't be overnight. And it's one thing that is really important to consider, which not a lot of people consider, which is a thing I wanted to talk about today in conjunction with Henry's Bon Voyage, is as follows. is like this, right? I had this thought yesterday as I was talking with him and kind of giving a post-mortem in my head of his journey. I mean, yeah, exactly. But a lot of people want that overnight success, and nothing is for free, and people can get frustrated and quit, and or get stuck because they can't get better or whatever. It's like, yes, you do get better. It you know only after 2 years you take day one and day 800, and when you put them next to each other, only then you can see you got better. But anyways, so I had this thought just.
I feel like I should say something smart.
Oh shit! Human Earthling. Thank you for the raid, Human Earthling. Welcome. Human Earthling and all human Earthlingers. Today is the International Self-Portrait Day, so I'm painting myself. I strongly recommend you do the same. I've done it since 2001 now. It's a fun process. It's a fun self-reflection day. And all you new people, I can do a breakdown of this stream in particular. This stream is half an hour, daily stream, half an hour, exactly at the same time. I am an art director, a lead artist on outsourcing studio. I worked on 70 plus games. You name the game, I've most likely worked on it. I've been doing it for 15 years. So on this stream, it's purely like, imagine a crazy sketchbook, and every day I try something new, and every day I more or less ask you for a topic. I start the timer, and I draw something on the fly based on a dice roll, right? So that I don't know what I'm going to draw. I don't have chance to prep, or everything is off the cuff. And after the 30 minutes, we raid someone else, and we rinse repeat forever and ever. This is 5th season of Warmups, which means I'm on my 5th year of daily working day streams. Well, thank you very much, Human Earthling. Much appreciated. You're welcome, and thanks for rating. Hi, Zialin. Well, thank you. There you go. There's my portfolio on ArtStation. And also, there's a YouTube archive of all the streams. Hey, Eternal Lady, how's it going? And I was in the middle of, when you raided, I was in the middle of talking about this. Well, thank you, Eternal Lady. By the way, yesterday I started this portrait. So if anyone want to see the continuation of the warm-up, I did like a base pass on it yesterday, on yesterday's warm-up. And then I did the 1 hour on my lunch to get it to this level. And this VOD is available on my Twitch. So if you want to, you can. Hey, Twisted. Those biddies. Thanks for those bits. Anyways, so as I was saying, before I was gladly interrupted by a raid, because we were seeing off an artist yesterday. He had his last day, and his name is Hurri. I show you. He does art like this. He worked at my studio. I was his sensei for 5 years. But anyways, he got hired purely based on his warm-ups, which I'm repeating myself, but for all you new people. So he got hired by Netflix and DreamWorks and some other companies to do previs for them and do like concept art and things like that. purely based on the warm-ups he's been doing for the studio. We have a mandatory 30-minute every working day, every morning when we get into the studio. You have to do 30 minutes of drawing. Whatever you want, it doesn't matter, as long as you sit down and draw something. Be creative, try some new technique out, or do a study, or whatever you want. Whatever you think you need to do, do it. But you have to draw the first thing you do when you get into work. Hey, CL Art and Manion, and happy self-portrait day. Twisted PS, thank you. So I was getting to the point where was getting to my point, being like I was reflecting over his years at the studio and to myself, and kind of doing a post-mortem, thinking about his journey and what I should do better and what he has to do better and things like that, right? 8AMD event, what's up? And because he's working at the studio, right, we have a very high pace at the studio. All the artists that leaves us all have the same feedback, is that when they enter freelance world or in another studio, they are surprised that not everyone works as fast as we do, because I always set a high pace for all all new recruits, and I instill a pace in them that they have to, they can't what's called waffle. They can't like waste time, right? Because they have to produce, they have to deliver every day. That we have to send something off to a client. So when you start, it becomes really hard, and you have to, mad scramble to try to catch up. And I give people the chance to learn and adjust and get into it. But in the end, I more or less demand that they do deliver something every day to the client, so that you kind of have a high pace. You have to be accurate. You have to know what you're doing in order for you to have a calm day at work. And so the idea is that, like, you baptize through fire, right? You have to perform, you have to deliver, you have to know what you're doing, you have to do the research, you have to design, you have to have it readable. So what happens is that you force yourself a shorthand to be accurate and precise. So in the beginning, you're going to sketch a lot, you're going to mess up a lot, you're going to fail a lot, and then I'm there as to coach you as an artist at the studio to remove your weakest link and give you tools to practice and remove it on your own. And then I require you to pick up the slack, to teach yourself that, because I don't, it's going to be a hindrance in you delivering. Anyways, long story short, every artist that moves on from the studio, every studio that they go to, they go like, holy shit, you're fast, calm down. And all the artists that leave the studio go like, what do you mean fast? It's normal. and it just shows that when you put pressure on yourself with the right guidance and effort, you grow really fast. And what I wanted to make, the point I wanted to make, and which is a good thing to kind of keep in mind for you as not a person that's in a studio like this, but you're on your own, which was the thought I had yesterday when I did the post-mortem, is do your sketches, do your studies, do your experimentations, do your comfort zone stuff. But now and then, make one project, one picture, one design. Make it like in terms of effort, make it like, let's say, League of Legends dropped you a contract and said, hey, listen, we want a character design. We'll pay you 5K. Please deliver it, right? If that was a true event, if that was a true occurrence for you tomorrow, you know, after you run around like screaming in your home, going crazy, like motherfuck riot, right? After that panic mode, you have to deliver, right? You have to design something for them that they go, oh yeah, we accept it, or insert any other cool studio name that you want to work for, Budgie or whatever you want, right? You should approach at least one project now and then like that. Like, you really have to knock it out of the park. You really need to do your research. You sit up in your chair, you know, get game ready. You know, there's no going back, right? So you put all your effort in, all your concentration, all your knowledge. You sweat. You gotta take a knee now and then. You know, it's like really put the effort in. And then when that is done, like, take a breather. Stop being in that mindset. Stop being under that pressure, because that's not good, right? And ask friends, ideally people with a higher knowledge than you, that could help you act like an art director, or give constructive feedback during this process. And anything that you make, you should always reflect it like, this is for the art director, not to bitch about. You know, whatever design you're doing, whatever shape you're doing, like this, I don't want bad feedback about this. You know, this has to be accurate. I want to do it the very best I can do. I'll redraw it, and make it as accurate as you can. Because that's what, for example, Henry has gone through. He has to perform at work. He has to pass the quality mark at the studio, and then the clients. We work for all major publishers and all major studios. So we design shit for AAA, AA, indie, anything that's big and famous. We've more or less touched, right? So he has that pressure. He has to perform that. But he also has the liberty to experiment. He also has the liberty to sketch, freelance, all these things, right? But we also have calm periods in the studio where we go, all right, just go on autopilot, relax, paint the shit, you know, you got this. And then now and then we get, oh yeah, by the way, Destiny 3, whatever. I mean, obviously this is not real. Destiny 3 isn't real. Or is it? But yeah, all of a sudden you got to perform, right? And then you put on, you know, your leather jacket, you roll up the sleeves and get going. And then the pressure is on, right? You're gonna sleep less. You're gonna be sweating at the studio or at your home office or whatever you're gonna do. But you did deliver something in the end, and you've grown due to it, because you put yourself under pressure. That whole pressure and diamond, right? Henry Wong, yeah, exactly, Manion. He did demo for Industry Workshops, indeed. Eternal Lady, yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun. Maybe he has some old stuff. Let's scroll down at the bottom of his art station. So this was 3 years ago. It looks like a school project, possibly. He did not do this at Opus. ago. Yeah, he's gone. He's got gone. He's taken major strides. You can still see his thought process though, but way, way, way clumsier, less refined. CL art, yeah, it's fun. No, but so what I really want to point out is that it's really, I mean, I've been in the struggling artist shoes, right? We're all beginners at some point. But what I want to point out is that I always joined groups of people making a project. So when I was learning and trying to figure the game out, learn art, learn how does making concepts for 3D work, what do I need to think about, and all these things. I joined.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Eternal Lady. Oh, you gifted two people, Froax and Dave Deviant. Welcome to the warm up. Super kind of you.
Oh, yeah.
No, wait. Dame Deviant gifted to Eternal 80 and Froax. Fantastic. Thank you. Really kind of you. Much appreciated. No, where was I? Now you throw me off, Dame Deviant, with your kindness. You literally threw me off. Fantastic. That's a first. Anyways, thank you, Dame Deviant. Now I lost my train of thought. Pressure a diamond, something. Yeah, exactly. All right, now you're knowing how it feels to be a beginner. There we go, in joining groups. Thank you. Is that I joined groups in order for people to put pressure on myself. You know, it's okay to sketch something on your own, like, oh, there's another sketch, put it on a pile. Here's another failed whatever. Here's another. When there's no purpose on it, when there's no other person relying on what you're doing to have a quality, you don't check the quality. You don't check yourself to perform. So that's what my point. Like, that's why I always joined a group, making a project or an indie game or a mod or whatever. I joined a set of people wanting to create something in the end, and because in that sense it's public, other people are waiting for you, or they want to see what you provide or what you supply to the project. It becomes a completely different pressure, and you have to apply yourself. You have to do your best, right? Because you don't want to look like an idiot. That's what I always did. And yes, I did look like an idiot many times. And yes, looking back at those concepts, when I started out, I had no idea what I was doing. But I still remember that mindset I had about, oh, holy shit, all right, this is actually going to someone. This is actually going to, someone I actually have to see this, and they're going to judge me based on what I perform here. Which made me really put the effort in with my very limited skill set at the time, right? I was not professional then. It was like my first foray into the business. Like, okay, how does this work? I have no idea. Let's join a group of people who want to do the same. And they were way more skilled, obviously. But I said, hey, listen, I'm going to do it for free, interning, more or less. Do you need someone to come up with ideas, like concepts? They're like, yeah, sure. Like, all right. For them, they don't need to worry about it. They're not paying me. They probably didn't have any money anyways. But we grow together, we learn together, and one of those groups of people were the art outsourcer for Riot, Kenny Cavallo, and Marko Djurdjevic. This was 2001. Oh, thank you, Eternal. Great Odin's Raven, thank you. Shaman. Hey, Lucky Dub, I appreciate you. You're fantastic. How do you get that kind of pressure? I mean, if you go to any graphic engine web forum, for example, like let's say Unity, there's always like looking for group sections. You can go, hi, I'm an artist, I want to learn this, does anyone want to group up with me? And all of a sudden you got the ball rolling, you know. Yeah, probably you're going to fail, probably the project is not going to go anywhere, at least the first one. Or if you're lucky, you're in a group that can deliver and you can actually do something viable. And I think in the end, it doesn't matter if you fail or succeed. It's about that pressure, it's about that learning curve, it's about pushing yourself so that you eventually will be able to make something. And you can always, even if the project is cancelled or you leave on bad because of bad personal chemistry or whatever, you still met people, you still have knowledge from it, you still, you've only gained if you view it like that. But you can also go, oh, I'm a failure, and throw your Wacom away. But, that's pointless. You won't get better at giving up, And that's why you should do studies. That's why you should have a sketchbook. That's why you should do portfolio pieces or do experiments or do a Gumroad or whatever. You have to supplement, you have to learn, you have to switch off, you have to have fun, you have to prepare for those heavier, high pressure moments where you're forced to give it your all. Think of it like a finals, like a playoff. You don't casually play a game of basketball in the playoffs, right? It's do or die. But then you have all the other games and practices and, be calm. But I can guarantee you that when you're playing in the final or whatever, that's where you grow the most, where you implement it, when you're pushing yourself. Shaman. They just hover like an electrical hoverboard. I mean, that's for example, going on a graphic engine website forum and looking for a group. That's one way of doing it. That's just like top of my head. You can also ask a friend, ask someone that you could work together with. Like, hey, would you like to do something? Let's make something. You start, putting pressure. Gria, that's really good. That's really good. That is exactly what I'm saying that you should do. I mean, like I said, there's many different ways to put yourself under pressure. But the fact that you're going to do something with it, the fact that you are responsible for the outcome, and that people will judge you based on that outcome, naturally will put you in a different mind state where you have to perform, where you have to do your best. So yeah, absolutely. I strongly recommend you do that. If you feel like that will push you beyond the kind of like lean back in the like pate like this where you sit up and you, okay, has to be good. I have to plan this. What's the, like you want to deliver something, right? And that only comes in situations like that. Gria, no worries. Type as much as you want. Ice die. This is supposed to be Bjorn Kulis. Yeah, we're on the last minute. The last minute of 2019's self-portrait, international self-portrait of day of the year. It's good. I liked this year. I look at this painting and I will reflect over this year that's gone, and there's lots of positives, there's a lot of negatives, and lots of growth, and I see this painting and I feel like that is reflected well in both technique, mark. It's interesting to see. It's interesting. Clifford, no, not really in absolutely 2 hours. No. Or 30 minutes, no. It's more or less 2 hours in total. So yesterday, this was the warm-up. This was the first 30 minutes yesterday, which I deliberately didn't try to finish the painting. I wanted the color foundation to be there. So I knew that there was wonky anatomy. I knew there was, all these mistakes. But I deliberately took my time to build the base. And then I spent an hour on my lunch working on it. And then now 30 minutes to add the final touches. So it's a total of 2 hours. But nevertheless, it's self-portrait. So it doesn't need to be anything more than that. Well, thanks, Clifford. Clear my mind, Ice Die. My favorite thing to do to clear my mind is go for a walk. And when on the walk, you don't look at your phone or listen to music or anything. Just in the beginning, you're going to be bored. But I guarantee after, let's say, 20 minutes or half an hour of walking, you'll catch yourself thinking about things and pondering and flying away in your thoughts. Especially if you're in nature, just walking, where you don't need to watch out for the car, subway. If you just have an ability in an area to just walk, that's great. That's perfect for me. I always think when walking. I always relax. The alien, yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, so that's it. This year's self-portrait. Just to show you new people, like I said, I've done self-portraits since 2001. It's a fun tradition to do. I can see them and reflect over them and know what I did that year, what obstacles I had, what changes happened, all these things. So it's a really fun exercise to do. I do it all rigorously. I've lost a couple in the archive. I can't find them, but I've done them every year. It's a fun tradition. So this is this year's. It's a really good practice. So after this 30 minutes of warm up, we raid someone. We pass on the love onto another streamer. So let's find someone before we head out. Someone ideally doing something interesting. Joe? What's Joe doing? Oh, he's doing something cool. All right, we are rating Joe. Thanks you, Ice Die. Every November 1st is International Self-Portrait Day. There is Facebook groups and so on for it, so if you just Google that, you should find it. Thank you, Shannon. And I feel happy with this portrait. I feel it reflects this year really well. I feel like last year was like grayscale, heavy shadows. It wasn't a good year. This year I feel much more upward, even though I've had struggles and issues with my children and so on. But I feel good. I feel good. Thanks you all for the subscriptions. Thanks you for the donations, Eternal Lady and Dame Deviant. Much love. And let's go raid Joe. He's a fantastic guy. I'm going to do the outro, and after the outro, take you to the raid, so don't go anywhere. Good night if you're that part of the world. Have a great day, or this part of the world. See you on Monday, or I might stream over the weekend with music. We'll see. Have a good one.